who covers the middle, who covers the line, how do we get there, how do we know whose ball it is, break the court down into zones. If we go zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. It mirrors it on the other side, so it'll go 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1 in front. Zone 2 is our standard ready position. Balls are kind of in the middle of the court or staying within that. Where we get into trouble is if my opponent hits a ball out wide to me into zone 3, and I come out here and I get it, and my partner is still standing there at zone 2 watching me hit the ball. Then I put it back and the ball goes back through the middle. We look at each other and we're like, whose ball is that? Typically it happens more on the forehand side than the backhand side, because the forehand player likes to hook that ball a little bit more, especially when you play with Simone. We're here at a 2 and I get a ball and I hit it out to zone 1 to my opponents. What we're going to do and how we're going to understand who takes the middle and who takes the line is, if I hit a ball into zone 1, my opponent's moving out there, and what I want to do, we want to get to zone 1 on our sections of the court as well. And we want to try to get there before or at the same time that our opponent gets there, rather than standing watching, and we're in this reaction phase where we're watching, trying to see what they're doing. I'm standing here, Simone's standing there. They hit it down the line and she's late to a backhand. They hit it through the middle and we both don't have that understanding. That ball goes, as soon as I hit, now we move. But you notice how I move as well. My hips are squared to the ball. When I move this way, and the ball's going to be in front of Simone, so she's square to the ball as well. But when I move this way, I'm not going to stay right here. Remember, that ball is coming from this direction. If I'm here in my ready position, but the ball is over there, how do I get this ball in the middle? I'm going to be late to it even though I'm in position. So it's a combination of, when I move and my hips square to the ball, now my ready position is out. Now I can cover all of this. If the ball's hit softer, I have time to move back over there. But if I'm sitting here, I'm going to be late to it. If I don't move, I'm going to be late to it. And a lot of people will say, well, it's forehand ball. The ball's over there. How does Simone cover the line and the middle? There's always going to be that gray area. But the ball that you're probably going to take more often than not isn't something that is
hard,
absolutely scorched through the middle. It might be something that's floated, that you can still come across, and obviously she's going to be more powerful with her forehand than with my backhand. Or it's something that I might have difficulty with, but she can still keep it out in front. The reason why she's not going to take that firmer, hard-hit ball is, I'm here, I've set myself up. In order for Simone to keep that ball in the court, she has to make contact out here. Because if it goes back, the angle of the paddle changes and it goes all the way out if she swings hard. Whereas for me, I can still be another 2, maybe 3 feet behind her and have the reaction time that she doesn't. Even if I'm a little bit late, it's going to go back into the court, where if she's late, it's going out wide. So if I come over and I stand like this, now Simone wants to take that ball, what's going to happen? She's going to take the back of my head off because she has to take it right here. But now I come over and I'm sitting here, she still has the ability to move in front of me and take that ball.
But I would have to communicate.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the part. That's the part where it becomes a little gray, because of the fact that, again, yes, we need to move to where the ball goes, but then if I see an opportunity to go, you are also being more like peripheral. We get that question all the time. Do we watch the ball? Do we watch the paddle? Well, you gotta be the quarterback. You gotta watch the whole court and be aware of your surroundings, because if, let's say, I'm leaning this way because that is my priority to cover, but the moment I see an opportunity to pounce on that, I'm gonna come over, and I may not even have the time to say mine, but you are going to be aware of, because he has more time.
How do we move forward and how do we cover? So we discussed the zones here, 1, 2, 3. These zones also carry on all the way through the court. If I hit a ball out to my opponent's zone 1, right? I hit it out wide to pull them off a little bit. It goes out and then I start walking straight forward. Now, if Simone follows the ball like she's supposed to, the 2-5-3 or 3-5s, they don't have the reach, they don't have the anticipation. But so they go and they line themselves up with the ball straight away. Now I've come directly straight forward as well, and what's happened? We've created this huge hole in the middle that neither of us can cover. So instead, when I hit that ball and it's going cross court, what I'm going to think about doing is squaring my hips to the ball. So I hit this ball cross court, I've gone into that zone, I square my hips to the ball and I start walking forward. Now, because I'm tracking the ball with my hips, it pulls me into the area where we now have coverage. A lot of people then say, well, but I'm giving up this area over here. So then the explanation becomes, we either protect down the line and through the middle and give up a little bit of court, or I try to protect this and we give up even more court. We're always trying to cover the high percentage areas, which are down the line and through the middle, and force our opponents to hit it into a smaller percentage area.
So on this, just to be clear, because I know that we'll get a lot of questions out there, so this is very level oriented. So
Absolutely.
when you
Absolutely.
are at a higher level, understand that if I'm coming forward, I'm not going to come forward covering so much line. I'm gonna be coming forward looking to take as much court as possible. So then, therefore, when he's coming, he is coming more to go cover actually that zone 2 and 3, because the ability of my opponents, they can hit that area of the court. So this is where pickleball is not that simple, where people think, oh, it's so easy. But the better you get, the more complicated the game gets.
Absolutely. And a lot of people will talk to me or talk to us and they say, hey, you know, I watch the pros and I watch this. There's a huge difference between
the ability,
but also the understanding of the game. As that ball is going, not only do you see where the ball's going, you're reading body positioning, you're reading paddle positioning, you're reading how fast they're going to the ball, where they're taking it. All of this goes into play as you're moving. Whereas, like I said, for this zone positioning, it's the understanding of how to move on the court. And as we understand how to move, now our focus then switches from just moving to reading the situation.
So that's why sometimes covering the middle, understanding that is very level oriented, because people, what the biggest thing is that when they see, oh, in the pros, like forehand takes middle all the time, at their level they can't quite do that.
Yeah. Because
of the fact that they are not that mobile and they can't see the ball as fast or even read the ball as fast. So that's where I think it changes, because yes, possibly somebody will be able to take middle if they see that that's where the ball is going to go.
That's reading the body, it's reading the position. The other big one that we see kind of in that low intermediate kind of realm is ball comes here and I come over to hit it, and then the forehand person does come over and takes that, but they push it over this way. So now we've both squeezed into the middle and we've hit it back behind me, and now I've got to try to turn and go and cover the line. Whereas the understanding's going to be, as you progress in skill level, that if you come over and take that ball, you're not going to put me in a bad situation. You're going to put it back into the situation where we're still in coverage, where a majority of people come over and they hit the ball
and I see
out wide.
Yeah, and I see even more so, like we both come over and the back end is ahead and takes it, and then they take it over there.
And then they take it and push it that way.
So it's the same way.
Yeah.
So this is a really good one. So it goes both ways. So let's say we both come to get the ball.
Yeah.
And now you take it.
I go here.
And then I'm ready to hit, but I'm behind you, and you take the ball.
I push it out behind you.
And then we get beat there. And then the same is I come and take it, and then he's here and take it there, and then he gets beat behind.
So then what happens on the very next ball that comes here, we both go like this because we screwed each other up. Now we step back and that ball goes through.
Especially if there's a paddle.
Yep.
Yeah, if there's a hit of the hand or a paddle kind of coming together, then it's like, I don't want a piece of it. So, yeah. But we never done that.
Can I say that I went to hit a forehand here like this, and she hit me in the elbow as I went to hit a forehand like this? Did you see my coverage on the court? Over here, like this.
No, it was because you needed to be.
I needed to be straddling. This
No,
is
no, no.
this
Like
is.
right
Oh,
there.
actually, I needed to be just over here. I stand
yeah.
here like this, just getting ready for it.
So,
Yeah.
but I think that's the biggest one. So, for instance, if you are like a beginner, entry level, there is more. We will give more black and white.
Oh,
because they need it.
There's a lot more black and white in the introduction to the game and starting to progress in skill level. Because we're still focusing on trying to get the ball over the net.
So we need to be a lot more simplistic and with delivering the information. It's more straight to the point. So then becomes different when they start to progress. So as they get better, the information is now a lot more gray because of the fact that now they know how to hit the ball over the net, they know how to attack, but now what do you do with that information? And that's why it changes a little bit on that delivery of information.
Well, and then it's the building blocks. It's something that you give the information, and it's like you were talking about, why are we talking about this now when we said something else before? You give the foundation, then you build it up a little bit, and it's the same with skill levels. People are going to ebb and flow, and they're going to have that skill, then they're going to plateau, or they might start dropping off, and people are like, oh my gosh, I'm getting worse. But when you introduce new skills or you introduce new platforms as you come through, you always have that ebb and flow, that little bit of tapering, because you're trying to learn something new. Once you get that, then you build the next foundation and you keep going up. I think we see that a lot with camps, even with clinics. People will come and they'll do 12 hours of camps, and then they'll go home, they go, oh my gosh, I'm playing so much worse, that camp was a waste of money. But they spent 12 hours learning new stuff, learning new techniques, trying to figure out with it. So our advice is always, if you're learning something new,
spend more
stick
time
with it.
And
stick with it.
And spend a lot of time on one thing at a time, because that's the other.
Yeah, don't go out and try to do 15
try
things
everything all at once. And I think that's a big one. It's like taking one step at a time. If you're working on a top spin forehand, then spend enough time working on the top spin forehand before you move on to the slice forehand, because otherwise it becomes very all mixed up with the information in your head, and then the technique will resemble nothing. Like it's like a mixture of top spin and slice together. So like do one thing, and then once you are good at it, then move on to the next.
And it's the same even when you go out and drill, or specifically when you're going out and playing. Like somebody will come and take a lesson, and typically we'll give 3 takeaways. And those are 3 things that they can focus on for the next week or 2 weeks while they're doing. But anytime that you go out and play, and let's say we're talking about, the top spin forehand, my focus for that when I go out and play is to go with the top spin forehand. I'm not thinking about, well, I need to do this and I need to do that and I need to do that and this and this and this and this and this, because then we get super confused. You're going out with a purpose. Always have a purpose when you go out and play. Always have a purpose when you go out and practice, if you want to continue improving your skill. If you're going out to have fun, then go out and have fun and go for it. But if you're looking to improve, you've got to have a purpose every time that you go out. It's the same as when we work on a drop shot or a third shot drop with somebody. They'll go out and they'll hit the first 3 drops, it goes into the net, and they're like, I'm done, and they just go back to driving. Well, you're never going to get better at a drop shot if you give up on it and not stick with it and not make your adjustments as you go.